Welcome to the Trackpads Military Podcast, your go-to destination for exploring the rich history and remarkable stories of military life. I'm your host, Dr. Jason Edwards, and today we're going to dive into the fascinating evolution of armored warfare. From the first tanks rolling onto the battlefield in World War I to the cutting-edge technology shaping modern armor, we'll uncover how these steel giants have transformed military strategy and defined key moments in history. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast and sign up for the weekly newsletter at newsletter.trackpads.com. You can also explore my published books by visiting my authors page at militaryauthor.me. Armored Evolution: A History of Steel and Strategy. Tanks have revolutionized modern warfare, emerging as symbols of strength and strategic ingenuity on the battlefield. Introduced during the chaos of World War I, these armored vehicles were born out of necessity, designed to overcome the entrenched stalemates of trench warfare. Over the decades, tanks have evolved from their rudimentary beginnings into sophisticated machines that balance firepower, mobility, and protection. Their versatility has made them indispensable, adapting to diverse terrains, evolving threats, and the shifting doctrines of war. From the rolling plains of Europe to the rugged mountains of Korea and the deserts of the Middle East, tanks have proven their value in a wide range of conflicts. They have spearheaded offensives, provided crucial infantry support, and adapted to technological advancements that have redefined the nature of combat. At the heart of their success is their ability to integrate with other military branches in combined arms operations, ensuring that they remain effective in both offensive and defensive roles. The story of tanks is not just one of technological progress, but also of strategic evolution, reflecting humanity's ingenuity in confronting the challenges of modern warfare. Tanks in World War I: The Dawn of Armored Warfare. Tanks in World War I represented a bold leap in military technology. Born from the need to overcome the deadlock of trench warfare and the devastation wrought by machine guns, the British spearheaded this innovation, with Winston Churchill supporting the formation of the Land Ships Committee in 1915 to develop a new weapon capable of crossing trenches and neutralizing fortified positions. The culmination of this effort was the British Mark I, an armored vehicle with caterpillar tracks that allowed it to navigate difficult terrain. First deployed during the Battle of the Somme in 1916, the Mark I featured two variants: male tanks equipped with 6-pounder naval guns and female tanks armed with machine guns. While their performance in battle was mixed, their very existence marked a turning point in military history, introducing the concept of mechanized warfare. The early tanks faced numerous operational challenges that limited their effectiveness. Mechanical reliability was a significant issue, engines often overheated, and components broke down under the stress of combat. Their speed was painfully slow, averaging only 3 to 4 miles per hour, which made them easy targets for artillery once the element of surprise was lost. The cramped interiors were another issue, with crews enduring extreme heat, toxic fumes from the engine, and the deafening noise of machinery and gunfire. Despite these setbacks, their psychological impact was undeniable. British soldiers found renewed confidence as these mechanical behemoths rolled forward, while German troops were often unnerved or even paralyzed by fear at the sight of what they called land ships. Though their strategic effectiveness was limited during World War I, tanks left an indelible mark on military thinking and doctrine. Their use highlighted the importance of coordination between armored vehicles, infantry, and artillery, a lesson that would become central to later military strategies. The success of tanks at the Battle of Cambrai in 1917, where nearly 400 tanks breached the Hindenburg Line, demonstrated their potential when employed in significant numbers and with proper planning. However, Cambrai also exposed their vulnerabilities, as German counterattacks highlighted the need for improved armor, better communication, and support from other military branches. These lessons shaped the development of interwar tank designs, including improvements in speed, firepower, and operational range. World War I tanks also served as a laboratory for innovation, inspiring designs that would lead to the modern main battle tank. The British Mark IV and Mark V introduced enhancements such as stronger armor, more powerful engines, and better weaponry, paving the way for the more sophisticated tanks of World War II. Other nations, including France and Germany, began developing their own armored vehicles, often borrowing or improving upon British designs. By the end of the war, the potential of tanks to dominate the battlefield was undeniable, even if their full capabilities had yet to be realized. These early machines were crude but invaluable, providing a foundation for the mechanized warfare that would define the 20th century. The legacy of World War I tanks extends far beyond their immediate impact on the battlefield. They redefined military strategy, replacing the attritional grind of trench warfare with a vision of mobile, mechanized conflict. Tanks introduced the idea that technology could shift the balance of power, allowing smaller forces to achieve disproportionate effects through innovation and surprise. Their psychological and tactical lessons reshaped armies around the globe, setting the stage for the blitzkrieg tactics of World War II and the continued evolution of armored warfare. The Mark I and its contemporaries may have been primitive by today's standards, but they proved that the battlefield belonged to not only the soldiers in the trenches, but also to the machines that would come to define modern combat. World War II, the golden age of tank warfare. World War II marked the golden age of tank warfare, driven by remarkable advancements in tank technology and the critical role these machines played on the battlefield. Among the most iconic designs of the era were the German Panzer IV, the Soviet T-34, and the American M4 Sherman, each representing the pinnacle of their respective nations' engineering prowess. These tanks featured significant improvements in speed, firepower, and armor, while adapting to the demands of modern warfare. The Soviet T-34's sloped armor provided superior protection, while the Panzer IV offered a balance of mobility and firepower. The M4 Sherman, though not as heavily armored as its counterparts, was reliable, versatile, and produced in massive quantities, thus becoming a symbol of Allied industrial might. Collectively, these tanks shaped the battlefield and showcased the rapid evolution of armor technology during the war. The widespread use of tanks during World War II was revolutionary, particularly through the German implementation of blitzkrieg tactics. Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, relied on the speed and coordination of tanks, infantry, and air support to overwhelm enemy defenses and exploit weak points. The success of this strategy was evident in the early campaigns, including the invasion of Poland and the rapid fall of France. Tanks also played decisive roles in some of the war's most pivotal battles. The Battle of Kursk in 1943, the largest tank battle in history, saw the clash of German and Soviet armored forces in a brutal contest of strength and strategy. In North Africa, the mobile warfare between Erwin Rommel's Afrika Korps and the Allies highlighted the importance of tanks in desert operations, while the Normandy invasion demonstrated their versatility in combined arms assaults and the subsequent breakout from hedgerow country. Tanks became indispensable in both offensive breakthroughs and defensive maneuvers across the globe. The role of tanks evolved further as specialized designs emerged to meet the diverse challenges of World War II. Tank destroyers, such as the German Jagdpanther and the American M10 Wolverine, were developed to counter the growing threat of heavily armored vehicles. Amphibious tanks, like the American Sherman DD, which stands for duplex drive, were engineered for operations such as the D-Day landings, enabling armored support during amphibious assaults. Heavy tanks, including the German Tiger and the Soviet IS-2, were introduced for breakthrough operations, wielding formidable firepower and thick armor to dominate fortified positions and enemy tanks alike. These specialized roles highlighted the versatility of armored warfare, allowing tanks to adapt to the varied terrains and conditions encountered during the war. Mass production played a crucial role in the success of tank warfare during World War II, particularly for the Allies. While the German tanks were often technologically advanced, their production numbers could not keep pace with the overwhelming output of Allied factories. The Soviet Union, for instance, produced over 58,000 T-34 tanks during the war, while the United States churned out more than 50,000 M4 Shermans. This industrial scale not only ensured a steady supply of tanks, but also facilitated the rapid replacement of losses, enabling sustained offensives. The efficiency of production was complemented by innovations in logistics and repair, ensuring that damaged tanks could be quickly returned to the battlefield. This combination of quantity, quality, and support proved decisive in tipping the balance of power in favor of the Allies. World War II's tank warfare left a legacy that profoundly influenced military strategy and technology in the decades that followed. The integration of tanks into combined arms operations became standard practice, demonstrating their effectiveness in achieving rapid and decisive victories. The war also underscored the need for innovation and adaptability, as the challenges of diverse battlefields spurred the development of new tank designs and tactics. Heavy tanks, amphibious tanks, and the tank destroyers all pointed to the future of armored warfare, where specialization and versatility would continue to be key. Above all, World War II solidified the tank's place as a cornerstone of modern military doctrine, proving that in the mechanized age of warfare, control of the battlefield often lay in the hands of these steel giants. The Korean War, tanks and limited conflicts. The Korean War, often termed a limited conflict, showcased the continued relevance of tanks even as the nature of warfare began to shift. Many of the tanks that saw action were carryovers from World War II, with the Soviet T-34-85 and the American M4 Sherman dominating the armored landscape. These designs, though outdated by modern standards, were adapted to meet the needs of a new battlefield. The T-34-85, with its improved gun and thicker armor, demonstrated the lasting value of World War II upgrades, while the Sherman underwent modifications such as increased firepower and better protection. However, the rugged mountainous terrain of Korea presented unique challenges for these vehicles, limiting their mobility and highlighting their vulnerabilities. Roads and valleys became choke points, forcing commanders to carefully plan their movements and making the role of tanks more situational than in the flat, open battlefields of Europe. Urban warfare and infantry support became key roles for tanks during the Korean War, as the conflict often centered around cities and heavily fortified positions. Tanks were invaluable in providing close-quarters firepower, supporting infantry as they advanced through narrow streets or engaged enemy forces in entrenched positions. The confined spaces of urban environments, however, presented significant challenges for tank crews. Coordination with infantry was crucial but difficult, as the risk of ambushes and the need for precise communication often strained operations. Tanks provided essential fire support and defensive operations as well, using their heavy guns to repel assaults and fortify strategic positions. Despite their effectiveness, these vehicles were sometimes hindered by their limited visibility and maneuverability in tight spaces, underscoring the complexities of combined arms warfare. The Korean War also highlighted the growing threat posed by emerging anti-tank weapons, which forced significant adaptations in tank tactics and design. Infantry on both sides wielded increasingly effective anti-tank tools, such as bazookas, recoilless rifles, and anti-tank grenades, which posed serious risks even to well-armored vehicles. The mountainous terrain provided ample opportunities for ambushes, as enemy forces could use natural cover to target tanks from above or from concealed positions. This new reality required tank crews to adopt more cautious tactics, often advancing with close infantry support to counter potential threats. Additionally, air power became a critical factor in the war, with aircraft targeting tanks and supply convoys, further emphasizing the need for coordinated defenses against both ground and aerial attacks. Despite their limitations, the tanks of the Korean War demonstrated remarkable adaptability, proving that even older designs could remain effective with proper modifications. The M4 Sherman, for example, continued to see service in a variety of roles, from direct combat to logistical support. Similarly, the T-34-85, though designed for the flat plains of Europe, proved capable of holding its own in Korea's challenging terrain when supported by infantry and artillery. These tanks, while no longer state-of-the-art, underscored the importance of innovation in warfare, as minor upgrades and tactical adjustments allowed them to remain viable on the battlefield. Their continued use reflected the pragmatic realities of a war fought with limited resources and the need to make the most of existing equipment. The Korean War also marked a turning point in tank doctrine, as lessons learned from the conflict influenced future designs and strategies. The vulnerabilities exposed by advanced anti-tank weapons in difficult terrain highlighted the need for lighter, more agile tanks capable of operating in diverse environments. At the same time, the war reaffirmed the importance of tanks in both offensive and defensive operations, particularly in providing fire support and enhancing the mobility of ground forces. The Korean War demonstrated that even in an era of emerging technologies and changing tactics, the tank remained a critical component of modern warfare, bridging the gap between the massive tank battles of World War II and the more specialized conflicts of the Cold War era. The Cold War, the arms race for armored dominance. The Cold War marked an unprecedented arms race for armored dominance, as technological innovations propelled tank design into a new era. Among the most significant advancements was the development of composite armor, such as the British Cha-Bum armor, which revolutionized tank protection by combining layers of ceramics, metal, depleted uranium, and other metals to resist kinetic energy and shape charges. Tanks were further equipped with night vision and thermal imaging systems, granting them the ability to operate effectively in low-visibility conditions and at night, capabilities that redefined the concept of battlefield awareness. Guided missile systems also emerged during this period, allowing tanks to engage targets at greater distances with precision, a significant shift from the reliance on traditional tank guns. These innovations reflected a broader trend of integrating cutting-edge technology to maintain superiority in the evolving landscape of armored warfare. The Cold War era saw a stark divide in tank design and doctrine between NATO and the Warsaw Pact, resulting in the emergence of iconic tanks that symbolize their respective blocs. NATO introduced tanks like the American M60 Patton and the German Leopard 1, emphasizing a balance of mobility, firepower, and protection. These tanks were designed for adaptability, able to operate across varied terrains while coordinating with combined arms forces. The Warsaw Pact countered with designs such as the Soviet T-72, known for its rugged simplicity, cost-effectiveness, and powerful 125mm gun. This tank was mass-produced to ensure numerical superiority in any potential European conflict. Both sides focused heavily on mechanized warfare, preparing for a theoretical large-scale war in Europe where armored divisions would play a decisive role. The contrasting philosophies, NATO's emphasis on quality and coordination versus the Warsaw Pact's focus on quantity and resilience, shaped global tank design for decades. The strategic deployment of tanks during the Cold War highlighted the evolving nature of armored warfare. Large-scale armored divisions were maintained by both blocs, designed to counter each other in the event of a full-scale conflict. These forces were not only intended for traditional land battles, but were also integrated into broader air-ground coordination strategies. The inclusion of attack helicopters and close air support was vital, as the ability to neutralize enemy tanks from the air became an essential element of modern doctrine. Proxy wars, such as those in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, provided real-world testing grounds for these designs. Tanks like the T-55, T-62, and Centurion saw action in conflicts such as the Yom Kippur War and the Iran-Iraq War, where their performance against modern threats shaped subsequent upgrades and tactical revisions. The competition between NATO and the Warsaw Pact also drove a shift in tank design philosophy, emphasizing mobility and firepower over sheer armor thickness. Advances in engine technology allowed tanks to achieve greater speeds and maneuverability, enabling them to exploit enemy weaknesses more effectively. Firepower was enhanced through the development of smoothbore guns and advanced ammunition, such as sabot rounds, which could penetrate even the most advanced armors. This balance of speed, firepower, and protection reflected the need for tanks to operate not just in traditional engagements, but also in rapidly evolving battle scenarios. Cold War tank designs became the standard bearers of this approach, with vehicles like the Leopard 2 and the T-80 embodying the integration of these principles. The Cold War's legacy in armored warfare is profound, as the technological and strategic innovations of this period continue to influence modern tank designs and deployment. The introduction of composite armor, advanced optics, and guided munitions laid the groundwork for today's main battle tanks, such as the M1 Abrams and the Challenger 2. The emphasis on mobility and coordination remains central to modern doctrine, reflecting the lessons learned from Cold War strategies and proxy wars. While the Cold War did not erupt into the large-scale European tank battles that both sides had anticipated, its impact on the evolution of armored warfare is undeniable, shaping the tanks, tactics, and technologies of the 21st century. The anatomy of a tank. Tanks are complex machines with intricately designed components that work together to achieve unparalleled battlefield performance. Tracks and suspension systems are among the most critical elements, providing the mobility needed to traverse challenging terrains. Unlike wheeled vehicles, tracks distribute the tank's massive weight across a larger surface area, allowing it to move over soft ground, mud, or snow without sinking. Modern suspension systems, such as torsion bars or hydropneumatic designs, ensure stability and shock absorption, improving crew comfort and vehicle maneuverability even on rugged landscapes. This mobility is complemented by the tank's ability to overcome obstacles like trenches, rubble, or waterlogged terrain, a key advantage that defines its battlefield dominance. Armor protection has evolved significantly since the early days of tanks, transitioning from simple steel plating to advanced solutions like composite and reactive armor. Composite armor, pioneered by innovations like Chobham armor, layers materials such as ceramics, metals, depleted uranium, and plastics to resist high-velocity penetrators and shape charges. Reactive armor adds another layer of protection by using explosive panels that detonate outward to neutralize incoming projectiles before they can penetrate the main armor. These advancements have allowed modern tanks to survive hits that would have been catastrophic in earlier designs. Additionally, sloped armor, a concept first widely used on the Soviet T-34 during World War II, continues to be a standard feature as it increases the effective thickness of armor and deflects incoming rounds. The weapon systems of tanks are equally sophisticated, making them highly versatile combat platforms. The main gun, often a high-caliber smoothbore cannon, is capable of firing a variety of ammunition types, including high-explosive, armor-piercing, and guided projectiles. Many tanks also feature secondary weapons, such as coaxial machine guns mounted parallel to the main gun, and roof-mounted machine guns for anti-infantry or anti-aircraft roles. Modern targeting systems integrate laser rangefinders, infrared optics, and computerized fire control systems to ensure accuracy, even at extreme ranges or during rapid maneuvers. Some tanks are now equipped with programmable munitions that can detonate over or behind cover, allowing them to neutralize hidden or entrenched enemies effectively. Advancements in tank design have extended beyond firepower and armor to include improvements in mobility and operational flexibility. Modern engines, such as diesel or turbine power plants, deliver extraordinary horsepower while maintaining fuel efficiency. For example, the M1 Abrams uses a gas turbine engine capable of producing over 1,500 horsepower, allowing it to reach speeds exceeding 40 miles per hour despite its considerable weight. Modular design, an increasingly popular trend, allows tanks to be adapted for various missions by swapping out components like reactive armor, mine rollers, or specialized weaponry. This approach enables tanks to remain effective across a wide range of battlefield scenarios, from urban warfare to open desert engagements. Survivability has become a key focus of modern tank design, with numerous technologies developed to enhance crew and vehicle protection. Active protection systems, such as Israel's Trophy system, use radar and sensors to detect incoming projectiles and intercept them with explosive countermeasures, effectively neutralizing threats before they can reach the tank. Internal systems have also seen significant advancements, including improved crew compartments with blast-resistant designs, fire suppression systems, and even medical equipment for treating injuries on the battlefield. These technologies ensure that tanks not only excel as offensive weapons, but also provide a level of survivability that safeguards their crews in the most hostile environments. The advent of drone warfare has significantly influenced tank survivability, prompting a new wave of innovations to counter this emerging threat. Drones, capable of precision strikes from above, have exposed vulnerabilities in traditional tank designs, particularly their weaker top armor. In response, militaries and engineers have developed systems like active protection systems with upward-facing sensors and interceptors to neutralize incoming threats from aerial drones. Tanks are now equipped with multi-layered defenses, including laser warning systems to detect targeting by drone operators and deploy smoke screens or electronic countermeasures to disrupt communication. Some designs have even incorporated hard kill measures such as anti-drone guns or autonomous turret-mounted systems to directly engage and destroy drones. These advancements highlight the growing importance of integrating tanks into network defense systems, ensuring they remain effective in a battlefield increasingly dominated by unmanned aerial systems. Tanks and combined arms operations. Tanks are at the heart of combined arms operations, a strategy that integrates multiple military branches to achieve overwhelming force and adaptability on the battlefield. Their coordination with infantry and artillery is critical to this approach, as each unit complements the others to mitigate vulnerabilities and maximize effectiveness. Tanks provide heavy firepower to destroy enemy defenses, clear obstacles, and suppress hostile forces, enabling infantry to advance more safely through contested areas. In turn, infantry protects tanks from close-range threats, such as anti-tank teams armed with rocket-propelled grenades or improvised explosive devices, IEDs. Artillery adds another dimension to this synergy, delivering long-range fire to weaken entrenched enemy positions before tanks and infantry engage. This coordination was notably effective in World War II, where combined arms tactics proved decisive in battles like El Alamein, showcasing the importance of integrating tanks into broader operational frameworks. The synergy between tanks and air power has further transformed modern combined arms operations, adding a vertical dimension to the battlefield strategy. Close air support from fixed-wing aircraft and attack helicopters provides tanks with critical cover against enemy armor and fortified positions that might otherwise stall in advance. For example, during the Gulf War, the A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft, nicknamed Tank Busters or the Warthog, played a crucial role in supporting U.S. and coalition armored columns by destroying Iraqi tanks and disrupting their supply lines. Drones have taken this integration to the next level by offering real-time reconnaissance and precision targeting, allowing tank units to plan movements and strikes with unparalleled accuracy. In recent conflicts like Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russian forces, drones have provided critical intelligence for tank maneuvers, helping identify weaknesses in enemy lines and coordinate attacks across multiple fronts. Tanks' role in multi-layered battlefield strategies ensures their continued relevance in modern warfare. These strategies rely on seamless communication and coordination among ground and air units, with tanks acting as mobile fortresses capable of both offense and defense. Tanks are often deployed as the spearhead of an operation, breaking through enemy lines with their superior firepower, while infantry and other supporting units consolidate gains. The importance of such integration was evident during NATO operations in Afghanistan, where armored vehicles like the Leopard 2 and the M1 Abrams worked in tandem with infantry and air support to secure terrain and protect supply routes in hostile environments. These operations underscored the adaptability of tanks as they shifted from traditional warfare to counterinsurgency roles while still contributing to broader strategic goals. Historical examples highlight the effectiveness of combined arms operations in achieving decisive victories. During the Gulf War, the left hook maneuver exemplified how tanks, infantry, artillery, and air power could be integrated to outflank and overwhelm a well-entrenched enemy. U.S. and coalition forces used quick armored movements, supported by extensive airstrikes and artillery barrages, to bypass Iraqi defenses and encircle their forces, achieving a swift and decisive victory. More recently, Ukraine's counteroffensives have demonstrated the adaptability of tanks in modern warfare, as they work alongside infantry, drones, and long-range artillery to reclaim territory and disrupt enemy logistics. These operations underscore the importance of integrating tanks into dynamic, multi-pronged strategies that adapt to both traditional and unconventional threats. Modern tanks are increasingly equipped with advanced communication systems, allowing them to share data with infantry, artillery, and air units in real time. Technologies like active protection systems and drone countermeasures ensure tanks remain survivable in increasingly complex battle spaces. These advancements, coupled with the enduring principles of combined arms warfare, ensure that tanks remain a vital component of military operations, capable of adapting to the diverse and evolving challenges of modern combat. In conclusion, tanks have stood the test of time as a cornerstone of military strategy, adapting to the challenges of an ever-evolving battlefield. From their humble beginnings in the trenches of World War I to their roles in modern combined arms operations, tanks have consistently demonstrated their relevance. Technological advancements such as composite armor, active protection systems, and advanced targeting capabilities have ensured that tanks remain effective against emerging threats. Their integration with infantry, artillery, and air power underscores their continued importance in achieving tactical and strategic objectives. As warfare evolves, tanks will undoubtedly continue to adapt, leveraging innovations to meet the demands of future conflicts. Whether operating in traditional combat scenarios or countering asymmetric threats, tanks will remain at the forefront of military operations. They are not merely relics of past wars, but dynamic tools of modern strategy, constantly redefined by technological and tactical advancements. The enduring legacy of tanks is a testament to their versatility, resilience, and vital role in shaping the outcomes of battles and the broader trajectory of warfare. So thank you for tuning into this episode of the Trackpads Podcast. Don't forget to check out the Trackpads online newsletter, where we take things to the next level with multimedia content. Each issue features fascinating and informative photos, videos, and other articles that bring the stories of military life to you in a dynamic and engaging way. Be sure to subscribe at trackpads.com to stay informed and entertained. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the incredible world of military history and life.